Welcome to Northerly Island, folks. If you're gonna scatter my ashes anywhere, do it right here. This is a little piece of paradise right in the middle of downtown Chicago. We are just across the harbor from Soldier Field, and I'm looking out at a slightly overcast, beautiful day here on Lake Michigan. A few boats out there bobbing around, and I'm just awestruck every time I'm able to come out over to Northerly Island. It is by far one of the most serene, least utilized places in the city of Chicago. And when I say least utilized, I mean Northerly Island Park. As you can probably see behind me, there is also an amphitheater here. Amphitheater probably has about 30 concerts a year, and you know, it's not large. It's got the best view of the skyline if you're ever going to see a concert. That's just about as good as what you would get at Lollapalooza. But Northerly Island itself is near perfect, and I'll show you in a minute the only caveat to making a trip out here to Northerly Island, if you happen to be looking for a way to, or you're looking for something different other than the lakeshore path and the river walk. Like this is uniquely a spot where I've probably been, you know, I could count on one hand. I've been out here for about an hour. I can count on one hand the number of people who have passed me by in this park. It is so underutilized, and a big reason why is, frankly, it's a little hard to get to by foot. It's out here. We are just south of the planetarium, and there's limited parking. So like if you're gonna come out here, most people that I see coming out here are on bicycles. There's one big issue with riding a bicycle out here, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I have always come out here on foot. It's a glorious place. There, much like the area I'm at right now, this little trail, there's a few trails that people have carved through the years. I'm pretty sure that these aren't supposed to be here, but you know, people want to go to the lookouts. Believe it or not, at one point in time, this was an airport. 25 years ago, this was what was known as Meigs Field. It was a downtown airport. Executives used it to fly in and out of downtown, and after 9/11, then Mayor Daley wanted any reason he could come up with to get rid of it. And one night, in the middle of the night, he just took a bulldozer and made giant X's in the runways, rendering them inoperable and ending the life of Meigs Field. The only vestige of Meigs Field that's left is, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's an air control tower that is still here, and there's a terminal building over here, but there were no commercial flights that were coming in and out of Meigs, to my knowledge. I think it was all just private planes. So they took what was really just kind of a rich person's plaything, you know, place to park your private plane and go into meetings, and they turned it into a pretty great spot for people to come out and spend some time in nature. Obviously they've built up a lot of the hills. I want to say that the park as you see it today is really a part of the Rahm Emanuel legacy. Mayor Daley built Millennium Park, but Rahm Emanuel built the River Walk, and then this park here, and the 606. So really, if you're looking for people to give high fives to, and with regard to our unique public spaces, you have to first go with Daniel Burnham and the lakefront, but coming in a close second, surprisingly, is Rahm Emanuel. So I've made it over to, I guess this is the most southeasternly point on the island. It's not really an island, it's called Northerly Island, but it's clearly connected. There's no bridges that lead here. There's a bridge on the path, but nothing that you need to cross to get onto the island. But if you couldn't find a more serene place, I think this is about as good as it gets. Obviously down below, behind me there's an inner lagoon to Northerly Island. There's kayaks down there. I'm not really sure who owns those. There's a place to put a kayak in though, so if you've got like a small Oru, you could totally bring that with you and paddle around the lagoon, which would be kind of cool, something I've never done. Yeah. Also, to the outside here, that's Lake Michigan. And if you see 31st Street Beach off in the distance, it's an easy paddle from there to here. I've done that before. I actually paddled up and there was a festival going on at Northerly Island. You can get some really interesting scenes there, paddling by an electronic music festival. Kind of two worlds colliding. But one thing I wasn't able to do is I wasn't able to paddle into that lagoon. There is that bridge. If the water is too high, you can't get under the bridge. If the water is too low, you can't get into the island. So go figure. They designed it well to keep people from kayaking through the island. But that said, I hope that you've enjoyed this little view of Northerly Island, but I still have that one thing to show you. The one downside to Northerly Island, unless you're into, say, rock climbing. Basically, at this point, becomes impassable, so over the rocks we go. There are spots like through here that you could totally run, but then the brush kind of just envelops you at some point. So if you don't want to just run through tall grass, and frankly I never do, I'm always trying to avoid that whole tick thing, I would stay up here. And after, you know, it's pretty flat, but hey, maybe you're into rock scrambling, which is kind of what this becomes at some point. I may have to stop this so we can make it past a couple of spots. This is a spot where I almost would jump off, but I'm almost certain the brush grows back up over you. So again, there are spots, and this is like this is why I say, if you want to really come out here, do it in the late fall, winter, and early spring. You can just run this path without issue. It's wide open, it's great. If you're out here during the summer, welcome to the rocks. And there it is. We cleared the boulders. Yay. But if you're coming out here on a bike, there's absolutely no way to make the circle unless it's the off season, and because otherwise you're going to be trying to pedal through 6 inches of path that's overgrown. Wouldn't advise it. So that's it from my glorious morning here on Northerly Island. I hope you have found yet another way to find nature in the middle of the great city of Chicago. Not enough people utilize this place. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you, because then it's gonna be overrun with people. It won't. It won't. People don't like to get off the beaten path, and this is definitely off the beaten path. I love it out here. I think you'd enjoy it. Hope you come visit. If you like content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'm the Wandering Archie. I'll talk to you later.